Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I want to talk about today about the importance of setting concrete goals. This is something I talk about a lot in my creativity manual here, The Keys to Prolific Creativity, which you can get on Amazon. Concrete goals. What do I mean by concrete goals? These are things which are tangible and measurable when you are working towards them. And so the big example I'm going to use today is word count goals. Why having a goal as a writer to write a certain number of words is a very good daily goal. The reason it's a very good daily goal is basically because of Parkinson's law, which is that work expands to fill space. If you give yourself 2 hours to write 1,000 words, you're going to spend the entire 2 hours writing 1,000 words and maybe not even get it done. Or you say, I'm just going to work for 2 hours. You'll find many things to do in that 2 hours, but you may not get 1,000 words written, right? So if you set your goal at 1,000 words, which is a pretty reasonable for most like intermediate level writers, you can do 1,000 words a day. To me, that's not a very difficult goal to achieve. But if it is, start at 500. Start at something that is manageable. I also talk about that in the book. Manageable and realistic goals. So if you can't do 1,000, if just you don't have the focus, remember focus is like a muscle. You got to build it up. So if you don't have the focus yet, you don't have the task focus to do that, then just start with 500 words. Make it your goal to get to that word count goal no matter how long it takes, and you'll find that each day you hit that goal, the more quickly you're going to be able to hit it, the better those 500 words will be, and the better your focus is going to be as you start to exercise and be like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to get these 500 words out, or I got to write 500 words before I use the bathroom, right? Those concrete goals will do a lot more for you than setting time goals. So this is budgeting your time. That's part of the process too. You got to figure out, where am I going to spend my time? Where am I going to get my 2 hours to write, whatever it's going to be? So setting up your schedule, yes, that's part of it. But for me, it's more productive to think of concrete goals like write 1,000 words. People have always rebelled against that advice that you should write a concrete number of words every day, but that's how you're going to meaningfully make progress towards your goal of getting your book written. If your book is going to be 50,000 words, then that's 50 days of work. Not that much. If your book is going to be 100,000 words, that's 100 days of work. That's a lot, but that's still 3 books a year you're writing, potentially, right? So if you are able to target that concrete goal of 1,000 words and do it every day, you're going to be able to reach your big goal of finishing your book manuscript. So that's my advice for that. Now, this applies to other arts as well, and I talk about this in the book. Having concrete goals when you practice guitar or piano or something, that's a little harder to say. But I like to say, I'm gonna perfect this phrase. I'm gonna be able to play this piece straight through at tempo up to this phrase. I'm going to memorize these measures. So those are concrete goals that you can have in your practice sessions. It's like memorizing certain measures, playing them at tempo without mistakes, playing the entire piece from memory, things like that. Not, you can have whatever concrete goals you want. And so as you practice, you're going to, for instance, I want to get these 8 measures really good. You have those mistakes. You stop, you find out where you're making the mistake. You practice that one little bit. You put it back in context so that you can say, I'm ready to move on once I can play those 8 measures correctly. Not, I've spent 30 minutes playing guitar, I'm ready to go have a sandwich. No. I've mastered the 8 measures that I set out to master. Now I'm ready to move on. Okay. Budgeting your time, that has to happen too. I practice my guitar in the morning, right? But I got to have concrete goals. And then it could be same thing with composition. I'm going to come up with 8 ideas. I'm going to write the harmony for this. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to write the 2 melodies for a Sonata Allegro. I'm going to do that right now. That's an example of a concrete goal in music. Musicians are way worse about this than writers because of what I talk about in this book here, which is like what I call like zombie practice phenomenon, where you go in and you play all the music you already know and don't get better at anything, and there's no reason for you to take your instrument out. Right? You didn't accomplish anything in the practice session. You just milled about listening to yourself play, going, I'm pretty good at this stuff already, but maybe I could be better, right? No, you gotta push yourself and do things you can't do yet, and having that concrete goal. I want to do this. That's really what's going to help you do it. So as writers, go for the concrete goal, 1,000 words. Start with 500 words a day. move up to 1,000. Then you could try moving up to larger numbers, 1,500, 2,000. 1,500 words a day is what Stephen King did, like retired. And during his heyday, he always did 2,500 words a day, and he was pretty adamant that that's what he did. And so if he did 2,500 words a day, look how many books he's come out with. You can dislike Stephen King's books, but you can't dislike his productivity. He's published a lot of stuff. And you can do that too. You just have to be really consistent with it. And then there were big name writers who used to write like 10,000 words a day, like Walter B. Gibson. And so you could push for that too if you have a lot of time on your hands. But generally what ends up happening is that, if I had all day to write, it's really hard to focus all day. You're going to learn that too. Having the ability to focus intensely on something for 4 hours is beyond what most people are capable of. Most people can focus intensely for 30 minutes. So start with that. Set aside an hour with a break in the middle, right? When you're budgeting your time. But one of the things I like to do is have it open-ended on one side, right? If you can start in the morning, you're like, I have 1 hour in the morning. If you don't finish in that 1 hour, you got to be willing to come back at night and finish what you started. You got to be willing to come back and do what you weren't able to finish. Same thing with like a job. You have to treat it like a job. I'm trying to remember who said it. I don't remember who said it. It's like great artists or great musicians think like artists and work like accountants. And I think that's probably true across the board. So anyway, leave me your thoughts down below. The importance of setting concrete goals. You can get this book on Amazon. And if you're a Patreon member, link down below, you will get this as well as a free book that rotates every single month. So check that out, and I will see you all next time. Have a great, great day.